There are a lot of music out there that are destroying sanity. We might turn our faces from it and ignore the elephant in the room, but it's just what it is.
I know it's nonsense, but I realize that it's making more money, so I'm going to stick to my nonsense. And that's another educational system that we need to correct.
Musicians do not want to step into hot waters anymore because they probably saw what became of some of the others. They saw the risk, the danger of being persecuted for that kind of thing. So they'll rather just do the gummy bear music and let everybody just be happy and smiling.
A lot of these deals comes from this not only hunger for success, because the artist that is signing the deal knows that once I become visible, it's going to translate to some sort of money in my pockets. I hear the label say, "Oh, you'll have given it to your lawyer," and I'm like, "Come on, come on." This guy stays in Okorodu, nothing to eat. So what does he know about lawyer?
You know, for once I was thinking I would talk about music. Sitting on this table and on this podcast, I've had multiple conversations. Some great, some, I don't know how to say, but most of them are great. And I've also had conversations that left me a little drained. But there are certain areas of interest, love, desire, and passion that I have not yet touched at all. And I get to touch one today. So it's music and sports, specifically football, because after all, I'm the Femi of Femi and the gang, right? But I haven't talked football. I haven't talked sports. So one of these days, I'm going to have a sports guest sit with me. Today, I get to fulfill that other desire to talk music. I'm no expert. I'm a bit of a buffoon when it comes to music. But I told myself, I'll find a guest that knows music and we'll have a conversation about music. And what can be better than finding a guest that knows all about music to discuss music than to find two guests who know about music and can discuss music. So let me bring in my friends. I'm sitting out here, I'm wondering, have you ever heard of the music executives before? The music executives. Keep that at the back of your mind as I have this conversation. Now, also, I broke another of my rules today, which is I never sit in this conversation with an introduction. So I'm doing an introduction today. Usually we just have a conversation. So we'll go straight into the conversation. Let me say welcome to my friends. I'd like to start with James Makinde. Hello, James. How are you?
Doing very well.
James, you are Director of Music, Performance, and Production.
Right.
At the Music Executives. Mm-hmm. What kind of work is that? What do you do?
Well, to oversee the music performance and production. Now, performance is stage, production is behind stage. Yeah, so just to oversee everything that has to do with the music output, what people get to hear at the other end. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. That's what it's about.
Brilliant. You sound like somebody who knows about music.
I like to think so.
And I can't wait to get into this conversation with you because there are plenty of questions in my head, right?
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. And I also like to say welcome to Olaniyi Jatto.
Thank you, sir.
Director of Education. Makes me sound like a civil service position. So, Director of Education at the Music Executives, right?
Absolutely.
What do you do? Classroom work, teaching?
Well, firstly, I'll say this is outside the box.
Yeah.
All right. And everything that I do representing the music executive is also outside the box. So there is the direct approach to education or what we think is the direct approach. So, but music executives, as Director of Education, I've been able to understand that each child, each pupil, each adult have a way which they connect to music. So we've been able to tailor each child's need via, a said approach.
Okay.
So my job is to make sure that once a child comes on board, we're able to have our interview with the child, and we're able to say, okay, this is the educational pattern that we follow for this child's need to achieve X success or Y success, basically.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. 2 years ago, I was privileged to be in your esteemed midst when you had the performance. I think it was it was late in the year.
Yeah,
November. Yes.
2023.
November 18th, I think.
Yes. And that was when you, amongst the other things you did, was the first time in my life. I don't know whether it was the first time you were doing it, but it was the first time I was seeing something like that, something you called EMTT, the discovery.
Oh, yeah.
That was a powerful representation. I sat there for hours and I was entirely enthralled. First, I was taken in by the kids, the young kids coming to do performance after performance. Kids from different parts of the world, African kids, Asian, European, and American kids, each taking their turn. And just, I was literally teary-eyed that day. And I remember you in your resplendent, what were you wearing? I think you had a white, huge,
magical hat.
Yes. And I also remember there was something, was it a white colored, like a grand piano on stage?
Yes.
Everything was just magical.
Right.
And just when I thought we had seen it all, you went into this EMTT. Tell me about EMTT. Tell me about it. What is it? Why the name? Where did it come from? And what kind of manner of storytelling is that?
Right. Well, EMTT, if I would describe it in one phrase, is a musical illustration. Now, what in the world is a musical illustration? It's telling a story through music. But there's an additional element, which is a live screen showing motion picture or animation, basically. So you know how you watch movies and you have the movie playing out, the actors, they're there, they're doing their thing, and you have a soundtrack to kind of bolster whatever story is going on. So a musical illustration.
Like incidental music.
Yes, exactly. You have a horror scene, you have that horror music. You have a happy scene, you have a happy music to support it. So EMTT, or the musical illustration here, is the on-screen stuff going on. No words being spoken. You are seeing action and you are hearing the music telling the full story of what you're seeing on the screen, and everything is happening live. The music is happening live. It's not pre-recorded. The on-screen also is happening live. So that's... it's the first of its kind around here. Yeah.
Again, because when I first saw the thing in our schedule, I just thought it was just going to be a classical, like the usual classical, oratorical music, people coming and performing, say a few lines and then do these songs, including some people who really can't sing, but... like movie stars, like we see in the musical. Some of them really can't sing,
of course,
but they manage to gruff their way through it.
True.
Like me, like I pretend to sing sometimes too. But this one was different. It was colorful. It was beautiful. Let me ask you, Lani, like because of the education part. So when I hear the music executives, the first thing that comes to my mind is a bunch of brilliant music minds coming together, right?
Sure.
In fact, before I ask you that question about the education, let me ask you guys this general one. Where did the idea come from? Forming the musical executives. Who are these people? Where did you guys come from? And who else? What kind of individuals have been involved or are currently involved? And what kind of collaborations do you have with some of the known names in the industry?
Absolutely beautiful question. Okay, so myself and we like to call him our principal director, but he's not here in person today. we've had opportunity to work with different music companies over the span of 10 years and above. And, along the way, we met him. And he's a doctor, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's a physio. So we met him, and his music abilities, out of the world. So like, what are you doing with all this ability and just working as a doctor? Come on, let's do something together. Wow. All right. So prior before that, and that was about 2015-2016-ish.
When we met.
Yes.
That was 2017. Actually.
17. Okay. So
yes.
that same 2017, myself, in absentia, Rotimi, I was going to go solo to start something because now I have an idea of what I think music education should look like. So myself and Rotimi, we share the same core values, but we're going on our different paths.
Yeah.
All right. And credit to him, just came to me and said, you know what? Instead of going the idea of self, why not let's sit down together and do something? And that way we can form a bigger, umbrella that's bigger than myself and him. And that's how Music Executive came to be, to 2017, actually, 2017. So from there, now, like I said, we share the same core values. We have an idea of what we really want to do. And we understand, so there's a divide when it comes to music education. Some people say we are better at learning with our ears. You just listen, recreate the sound. All right. While more often than not, the Western culture will say we're better playing with the sight. All right. Whereby you see the music and you recreate it. So we thought to ourselves that both of the divides are equally great. But what makes a great musician is if you can do both. So that's where we come from. That, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. Because I think if I'm a musician, then I'm here and they brought a piano and I tell you that, I can't play anything because there's no book. How would you feel? Now you look at me like, what do you mean? You can't play anything because there's no book?
I need cue sheets.
Right.
Then at the same time, you see another musician, you're like, oh, this is a Tchaikovsky. And you're like, I can't play it until I listen to it. So that's where we struck the balance and like, okay, we have to merge both worlds together. That one will not be make lesser than the other. And we've been able to successfully do that. So that's the day you came for the recital. You saw some kids play with the book. You saw some without the books. And that's been the culture. So that's the way we started. So him on the other side, like we said, is the director of production and performance. He's always writes some music. And, he plays to us. I'm like, this is good. He puts it on YouTube, puts it there. I'm like, this is good. Only that if we can get the right listening, audience, this will go somewhere. I think it was 2018 precisely. We were at Alfred Rewani, the place. We had finished eating that day. So we came downstairs. I remember we stood by the car and we looked at ourselves. Okay, we've done recitals for the kids. We know we can go through this other route. What do we need? Now that's need one. Need two was the music in Nigeria, in the world in particular, is too saturated with, the pop culture. Some of the lyrics are not so child-friendly. And it's a pain in our hearts. And I often say this, when something is a pain in your heart, it's because God has given you a talent to be a solution to it. So we looked at ourselves and instead of complaining all the time, what can we do? I'm like, okay, James, some of your music. How about we get someone to make an illustration to it? That is Rotimi speaking now. I'm like, okay, it won't be a bad idea. But the illustration should also carry the story the music is telling. That's 2018. So after we finished all our thoughts, then we asked, the elephant in the room popped up. Where are we going to get the money to execute everything we were saying? So immediately we got to that point. You know what? Let's get in the car. Let's go home. Let's go home. So from 2018, that has been at the back of our mind, and he keep he kept on making music. We kept listening and we kept thinking. And 2023, three of us, again, we just said, you know what? What's it going to cost? Let's sit down and just draw the cost. And we drew it up. Like, okay. Of course, now nobody knew what this is about. So when we started meeting people that this is what we wanted, like, what are you talking about? So the closest thing to our explanation was Tom and Jerry. And they're like, Tom and Jerry. And you guys want to do it live. So it was very, very difficult to sell. But somehow, with our resources, everything, we're able to pull it off, which was what you saw. That was the very first time. Emmet. That was the very first time. So that's just the backstory behind it, right? And, then people will ask, oh, how are you able to get all those other musicians to fall in line and everything? Because we get that question a lot. Because to get a single musician to behave, we know. We are now talking about this year. How many figure that we count? About 60 or 61 now.
Yeah.
That's going to perform this year.
Yeah.
And how do you manage all these people all together? Well, I know it's a cliche. If I say what I'm going to say now, when I say it is God, they're like, But ultimately, we have a strong belief in our faith, which guides every little step we take.
Yeah.
Right. So when we meet the right person, okay, there's a need, okay. And somehow, we're able to get the right fit. Sometimes we get it wrong. I'm like, sorry, bye-bye. You can't fit. We still did that this year, right? Like, you can't fit into what we're talking about. Excuse us. You can't fit into what we're talking about. Excuse us. And later we go back, re-strategize again. What did we do to get all these other people? Let's do the same thing. And that's how we've built up till now.
I've been privileged to attend, usually not musicals themselves, but certain film festivals in different parts of the world. There's one that lingers in my head because it was a long time ago and it's almost 12 years ago. What's the name of this university now? I think it was in Lebanon that I'd visited for a film festival. And, I'd gone there after attending a similar one in France. So I'd met them. What really stood out for me was a musical part where there was a live band, a live orchestra playing some of the biggest movie soundtracks in the world and just capturing it with, so they captured it with the actual movie sequences, like if they played the Tom and Jerry and you see Tom and Jerry running out. It's like, it was just beautiful. I had goosebumps. It was just a wonderful thing. And I was sitting down there and thinking, our own people. What do we do? What do we ever do? And the first time I was like, okay, because I was sitting at our auditorium 2 years ago.
Yes.
And I was flashing back to some of these things that I'd seen in different parts of the world. I was like, and the best part was the imagery.
Yeah.
It was so very us. So very us. So that was also heart lifting. And I'm going to come back to these things, but I want to ask you gentlemen some other questions. Before that, I would just say maybe, media has helped me understand some of what you are saying. Otherwise, I'd be a total novice. But all three of us could be sitting down there and I'm here at this table and talking as equals musically if I had not been silly when I was in high school. So I had an opportunity to learn music. So I grew up in Ibadan. My childhood friend, the late Tope Brown of the rhythm fame, for those who remember the rhythms, Tope Brown. While we were in secondary school, there was a youth center in Ibadan that we used to go to from school. And then we'll turn up there. They had everything. So we're interested in the music class and all of that. They said we had to buy Kenwood.
Yeah, Kenwood.
It's like, how much is Kenwood? Say 6 naira. 6 naira.
Wait, Kenwood or Smallwood?
I think it was Smallwood.
Smallwood.
I think it was
The piano
Smallwood.
book.
The
right?
piano book.
Yeah, it's Smallwood.
Why did I
It's
miss
not
it?
Kenwood.
Which one is Kenwood?
Kenwood is the
is
appliance.
the appliance.
What is wrong with me? It's Smallwood. Smallwood. Yellow.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
yellow
yeah,
cover.
yeah,
Smallwood.
Yeah, Smallwood. Sir, Smallwood. And I was like,
6
6
naira.
naira. It was probably in the late 80s or something like that. 6 naira.
Wow.
Nah. So that's how Tope and I left the keyboard lessons to go where they play table tennis. And we're smashing ourselves like away. It's a very funny thing. And sometimes I tell my kids that. And I wish I played instruments. I still managed to pick here and there, but I look back. So, and my kid, I'm like, take every advantage that you have and all of that. I was even saying that any of you, can you find time that these people call the music executives, you want to go and learn to play properly and all of that. But, that's on the lighter side. Before we go into what expectations are, I like us to look at the music industry. You already hinted at it. The quality of the songs, the quality of the music, some of our biggest acts, because young people follow these songs. And to the credit of this country's creative industry, I believe our performers have done much more for the image, positively, of the image of this country than even Nigeria's leadership. I want to put that outside of the door.
Absolutely.
It is thanks to these people, the Wizkids of this world, the Davidos, the Tiwa Savages, the Don Jazzies, the Burna Boys of this world, that some people even hear Nigeria and they're like, brilliant country, talented. The same way the Kanus and the Kochas did so much for Nigeria, just playing football.
Absolutely.
However, as professionals, as music executives yourself, what do you see in terms of the quality and also in the storytelling? Because music is universal. Music is universal. The Americans found out long ago that music is a source of soft power.
True.
And they use it. True. They understand that music is soft power. The same way that movies, Hollywood is soft power.
Right.
And they use these things. And they're even I don't want to go into conspiracy theories, although sometimes the thin line between the theories and all of that. Sometimes even some of the powerful agencies like the CIA had found a way to where they know that messaging, and they put it out.
Absolutely.
So when you look at the Nigerian music scene, gentlemen, James, Nee, what do you see?
Wow. Where do we start from? That's a big one. I mean, like you were rightly saying a few seconds ago now, music indeed is a universal language, and it's part of our motto, really, or statement of belief. If we look at music by itself, we see it's actually woven into the fabric of nature. I mean, scientifically speaking now, there are experiments that have been proven where some certain plants, not animals, respond to music, sound in a certain way.
I've seen that. I have seen that.
Right. So again, that goes to tell us what level of influence and power music really has on nature. Humans, animals, plants, whatever. Even the weather. Right. So again, that shows that we have a big, big weapon in our hands as musicians. And this weapon has been used for several causes over the centuries and millennia even. Right. Someone said something, I've forgotten the person, but a popular musician in history. He said, if I want a society to believe a certain thing without coercion or a possibility of a riot or protest, I hide it in music. And I think he's right. Right? You can get people to believe anything. You can literally hypnotize people to a certain belief system through music. So now let's leave the universal, let's come back to Nigeria, because that's the question really. Well, the music in Nigeria is quite encouraging on one end and discouraging on another end. Now, you mentioned already that some of our musicians are actually putting Nigeria out there. We're in the world stage. People are hearing more about Nigeria right now. In Africa, Nigeria is like the in thing when it comes to music, entertainment, media, and stuff like that. Even in the movies, also the movie industry, Nigeria. I think, I'm not too sure. I've not done my research on this, but I think Nigeria, Nollywood.
I believe it's fair to say that Nollywood is ahead.
Yes. Right, exactly. So
maybe not necessarily in terms of the quality of the movies, because the South Africans have some near Hollywood style productions.
South Africa,
But again, in terms of narratives, interests, telling of our own local stories, Nollywood has done so much for the continent.
And maybe comedy too.
Yeah, true.
Comedy.
When it comes to comedy, you could argue that we are ahead of everybody in terms of comedy.
Right. So again, I see those stuff we just talked about now as the pros, right? But now, how about the cons? Well, quite a lot, right? And like I said, music being a very powerful tool, I think we could do better in really using that tool to mold society for good. Right, I believe music can be used to actually promote several values and virtues. And that's one of the motivation of the music executives, really. That's one of the motivations of EMTT, the production called EMTT. We are trying to promote some certain values in society that restore sanity. You see, there are a lot of music out there that are destroying sanity. We might turn our faces from it and ignore the elephant in the room, but it's just what it is. It's the fact. How do you know? How do children respond to it? How do children respond to it? What sort of patterns of behaviors do people gravitate towards when they're exposed to such kinds of music repeatedly for long? You see, so again, this is nothing religious. This is nothing, how do I put it now? This is nothing to be put in any box like that.
Yeah.
This is
not that philosophical.
Yeah, exactly. This is it's like diet. There's nothing religious about diet. If you eat wrong, you die. Right? If you eat right, you live. Right? So again, music is food also. Food for soul, they say. I think it's Bob Marley that said that.
Yeah, Bob.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, what kind of food are we serving ourselves, right? We need to serve ourselves healthy food. Healthy food all the way. So I could keep going on and on, but I think I'll stop right there.
Again, piggyback on the thought about the Nigerian music scene. It's good to look at it comparatively. So in the last decade, what have you observed? So
I'm going to narrow in from the education standpoint to just put a pin on my points. So just like I was telling him out there when we're discussing, I said, to me, education is what you learn to make your immediate society better. All right. So one of the major challenges we've suffered, we are still suffering, not even suffered, as Nigerians or Africans as a whole, is like we're bringing in an alien education to solve our own peculiar problem. For example, in the educational system, I say this and people just laugh. I'm like, we have issues with timing, right? African time, we call it. That should be in our curriculum. Teaching the child how to understand the value of time. We have issue with, shall I say, greed?
Work ethic.
That should be what we impute in our own education. Now, to music as well. Just like you said, we've seen the pattern that this sort of music promotes X lifestyle. All right? I've seen people whereby, I don't want to call the name of any musicians or put them on the spot now, because as musicians, we say this, that we don't judge other people's music work, because unfortunately, what makes a music, what's the word we use in Nigeria? Blow. Is a reception of that music from the audience.
Yeah.
All right. So you can't say this music is better than this. But as musicians, in between ourselves, we know quality. We know what is better than the other. But unfortunately, the world is what the world is. Right? A musician said then that it's nonsense that is making sense. And when he made that music at then, now sit down and think about it. That same musician has made conscious music, but it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So when he did the nonsense that was said to make sense, because make sense in the sense that he has given more commercial success. That's the sense he was talking about. Okay, I've done the good one. I'm broke, but I did this. I know it's nonsense, but I realized that it's making more money, so I'm going to stick to my nonsense. And that's another educational system that we need to correct. The education of self. So what the likes of Bob Marley had said in his interview, then when someone asked him that, are you successful? And he answered the press person, said, what's your definition of success? If it's about big cars and house, no, that's not my definition of success. My definition of success will be how much I've imparted and impacted my society for the better. So that's why I said I look at it from the educational standpoint, that if you listen to this music, how intelligent do you become? You become more intelligent, or you become more the other way around. All right? That's why if I say this, people laugh. I said, there are times I used to love rap music a lot because I think it tells more genuine stories and sometimes provide more solutions and stick to basic stories than the, what you call R&B, and gives you a fancy love story that doesn't exist anywhere. That doesn't exist in reality. But I guess people love to stay in fantasy than the real world. All right. So,
like they say, the best love storytellers are the ones with the most horrible relationships.
Proven fact.
That's it. So that's the way I like to look at it from. Yeah.
So just to your point about the power of music, I don't know what it is now, but when we were growing up and we were studying, everything you had to remember or to cram, there was music introduced to help you from understanding Bodmas and all of that. Yes. And when we did chemistry and you had to cram the first 20 elements. In my time, they would tell you helibepsino, renamangal, sips clack, or something like that. Different, So in my time, it was helibepsino. So you know that it's just the initials, renamangal, sips clack, and stuff like that. If you wanted, for instance, to learn the 9 manifestation of the fruitage of the spirit, love, joy, peace, long suffering or patience, depending, and they put it in a song. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, self-control. So those things are powerful tools.
Absolutely.
For teaching, for training, which is why I was so excited of Ni's role, being director of education. And Rotimi himself was a great guy. And I remember when you guys did this thing, I saw how everybody played their roles. Rotimi's voice echoing in the auditorium, literally being the master of ceremonies. His sonorous voice blending. He wasn't singing, he was talking, was blending and adding a lot of comedy and all of that. So let's move forward now. I know Ni says, it doesn't, and I can understand you guys are music players. I can name names. I can name names.
We don't know the nature of podcast, so we're trying to tread carefully.
Yeah, I can. I'm not a musician. But for instance, to the point you made, I remember when Obesere sang this song. When I sang about this, nobody listened. I sang about this. All this, when I started singing or whatever, rubbish. Right. That's when I blew. Yeah. And I mentioned Obesere because Obesere was somebody I used to like because Prime Obesere was a very humble guy. Very humble guy. As a kid going on, I would come to my studio for an interview and he would, he was like, even when he knew he was older than you, and we worked with all these people. So I'm going to come back to what music was and what music is. Yes. But for now, I'm looking at it. Let's narrow down to what has been Nigeria's recent export to the rest of the world, which is Afrobeats, going global. What do you think is the next frontier for Nigerian music? Because sometimes when you talk to certain people who know, they will say something like, Afrobeat is, I don't know, but the people who know tend to tell me that Afrobeat is probably going through a cycle. Now it's like it has peaked, or, it's peaked. And I really don't know whether there's room to. But what do you see as music professionals, as music executives, as the next frontier for Nigerian music?
Okay. Okay.
Go for it. Go first.
Okay. So for this particular question, all right, I'll come back to it, but I want to make mention of something that you probably chuckle about now. I read a biography of your friend. I told you the other time when we were here, So there's a reason whereby Talking Beautiful Nibi, I can mention his name. Anyway, great man.
Fantastic guy. Actually, he was going to be the first musician I was going to talk to. But you've stolen his thunder. Shegun, no vexo. But again, because he had to travel. So when he's back in the country, we would have a sit down.
Mr. Shegun. Right. I'm waiting for your podcast. I'm waiting.
And he actually reminds me because like James here, he's also a doctor.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
He's a veterinarian.
He's a veterinary doctor.
Wow.
Also Ibadan. He's an Ibadan alumni as well. He is well.
Fantastic.
He is well.
You went to UI too?
Yeah.
So we all have that. I think he was, Nubia was he a Melambite or something like that? I can't quite remember.
I was in Kuti Hall.
You were in Kuti.
Yes.
I think he was either a Melambite or Sultan Bello.
Oh.
My own hall did not have much swag. Awo. Which is no longer a boys' hostel, right? It's been a habit. So let's move on.
So basically, I'm privy to some certain information. At the same time, I can see before my very eyes. Now, before Afrobeat became a thing, all right, before the big money came in, invested on the so-called big people, they saw something, right? They saw what we are doing here. But over the time, even started from the times of Fela. So when he crossed the border, he didn't change what they saw. So the challenge we are having now is, once they export the so-called, artists, then you start to see a change in pattern. Because now there's a thing of, I want to appeal to a global audience. But the global person that came to pick you, the reason the company came is because of what you're doing presently. It didn't come because you were appealing to a global audience. So which means there is a space for your sound. King Sunny Ade was selling stadiums. Synchro dance.
Synchro system.
My goodness, thousands of people there. So it's
Grammy nominations.
So when I see some of our exports now, trying to change, some of them even change the narrative that, I'm not doing Afrobeats. That's not what I'm doing again. I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. And I'm like, the thing they saw in you was that. Why are you running away from it? And now you wonder when the album or new albums come out and they're not doing well. They won't do well because you're running away from your core. What makes you you? If I'm going to mention a name now, it would be Davido then. When he got his first deal and he did some Son of Mercy or whatever that something is, when they forced him to change. And he was, he himself said, that project, never in my life, I'm not going to listen to it again. Because they forced him to do what wasn't him. So until he came back to his roots, I'm like, okay, now I've retraced myself. Let me just stay comfortable, where I am. Tell my story better. And, so what I'm seeing is, in the future, if you continue with this trajectory, what they call the Afrobeat to the world might spiral down. Because you can't do an R&B better than the people that owns R&B. You can't do an hardcore rap, say, better than the people that owns it. So except you spice what makes you into your music. And that's what we do at the music executive. So, when people come and say, oh, you guys play jazz, you guys play this, there's a touch of everything, and there's the Africanness, what makes us us. And when people come, we had a comment from someone in the UK then, several times. And one of the comments stood out, said, was this done in Nigeria? Are you people Nigerians? We're like, of course, we are Nigerians. A teacher in the UK came around. She sent it to their group in the UK, and she's like, this is happening in Nigeria. One of our parents then, she came to ask one of us and said, did you guys plan this? Do you have an event planner? And we said, no, we are the event planner. We did everything by ourselves. She said it's a lie. Till date, she still did not believe. So my point is, for the Afrobeat to the world thingy, if you're moving away from your core, in Yoruba, I said, am I allowed to speak Yoruba?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, Odo to bagbe orisuen. Omagbe. Yeah, so
translate.
So which we translate. If you forget your source, there's a reason it's called resource.
Yes.
So if you forget your source, resource will not come.
Yeah, you'll dry out. If a
So
river
eventually
forgets its source,
so you dry out. So that's with what I'm seeing, right? That's my take on it. Right. If you had started out your music certain way, let's say Thames, she started her music certain way. That is understandable.
Yeah.
So when I listened to Dono One speak about it, he said, or Muyiwa as it's popularly called, he said it was deliberate. Thames, don't speak too much Yoruba. Don't speak too much Pidgin. Speak English. Let your music be relatable everywhere. Now that is Thames. That's the way she started. But if you started, say, the way Nice used to sing, then all of a sudden you want to force yourself to sound like some Chris Brown. That's where the problem starts.
I wonder though, James, like my good bro, Johnny Drill, who's fantastic guy, who started, with a bit of country, a bit of this.
Yes. Yeah.
And he seems to have the ladies on lockdown. I was worried for him that when he was going to go and get married, he was going to break a lot of young ladies' hearts.
Yeah, it took 1 year to announce.
But even then, even the ladies who love his music a whole lot, they follow him, and it's like. So, taking all of this into account, James, I just wanted to ask, what do you think? Do you think Nigerian music has sustaining power? Do you think it will continue its dominance? Or do you fear that it might have a shelf life and it might fade out, like as we've seen some global trends? There was a time when I was a child, Congo music was unbeatable. Even Ghanaian music was a big trend on the continent, right?
On the Makosa.
Yeah. And you can also say that, Zulu music, which became a dominant force in the 80s and 90s, and then some of it replaced by Amapiano. And some would even say even Amapiano is, okay, occasionally you get you understand.
Yeah.
But what look into the crystal ball. What do you see?
Wow. This crystal ball is very blurry. It's not crystal clear. But honestly, if we look at trend of almost every kind is cyclical, right? So when it comes to music, really, I see almost the same kind of trend, however, in a modified form. Okay, Afrobeat. I think there's this argument that, it links back to Fela, the original classic Afro and everything. Okay, Fela was the in thing in his time. Early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, there was this silence as concerning that kind of music. And suddenly, late 2000s, Afrobeats became something, right? I see that cyclical thing. He went down and he came back again. So really, in the short term, I think Afrobeats will go down at some point for something else to take over. I don't know what that something else will look like. right? I think it will go down, it will duck its head for a while and maybe come back again. Who knows, right? But again, what I will say is this. Concerning the music industry, I think we have what I like to call petty listening. Petty listening, where, Afrobeats is the in thing now. Yeah, agreed. So everybody floods in their listening capacity into that. Now, I might be wrong, but I think in a country like the US, every style of music still retains their fan base in some way or the other. A country musician might not be in the A-list, but in his state, he's like a big deal in that sense. But in Nigeria here, for example, it's either you are A or not. Maybe B, you can manage a bit.
B plus.
Right? So I feel that diversity that the Nigerian music industry possessed in the 80s and maybe early 90s, I think we've kind of lost that diversity. There was the Blackie, he had his own style.
Yeah.
There was the Sonny Ade, he had their own style. There was the, what's his name now? This Fuji.
The Pasumas, even
Pasuma.
Oh, the Barista.
Thank you, Kollington. They had their own style. There was the Akpala guys.
There was the Akpala, Awurebe.
They had their own several styles. But now it seems everything is just a cesspool of randomness.
Cesspool of big tree.
Yeah, and if you don't sound a certain way, you're almost not guaranteed success. That's the problem I have primarily.
And you had those who fused a bit of this, a bit of that.
Yes.
Sashina Peters called his own Afro Juju.
Yeah.
There was Danny Wilson.
Exactly.
Who also, and then the reggae musicians, the Raskimono,
Righteous Man, all of them.
Daddy Shoki, these guys, Baba Frayo.
Right.
Even late Majek Fashek.
Yes,
Majek
Fashek.
Of course.
So we see that each of these musicians had their own pillars in the industry, which was they were standing pillars. But now it's kind of muddled up. So that's one of the issues we have. And again, as music executives, I mean, God being gracious to us going forward, those are some of the barriers we hope to somehow break, right? Where the average man on the streets can have a listening ear for something other than what we call the mainstream, so to speak.
And we've not even talked high life or this Victor Waifos or the Olaya and all of these guys.
Exactly. And just to add, I mean, if we look at all those people we mentioned now, these people, Victor Waifo, Olaya, and King Sonny Ade, Obe, and all of that, if we look at it, has their music survived their time into our time? Because there's a question you ask that, is this music going to really survive? I don't see many of the music we're doing right now. I don't see it surviving too long. I'm not a party spoiler. I'm not raining on anybody's parade, but I'm just being factual. Would it really survive into the next generation and stuff? So
it's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, I absolutely agree with the surviving. So I mean, that's longevity,
staying power.
Yes. That you listen to this and you're like, I mean, I still listen to. Where do we start from? Right? We just mentioned Beautiful Nubia.
Yeah.
Owuro. That's how many years ago?
Yeah.
Over 20 years ago.
That was his third album.
Wow.
That was his third. That's the Jangbala
Jubulu.
Before that, his first album was 7 Lives. After which
African Boy
he did the second one where he did Silence is Golden and the one that got him a Kora nomination. Wow. Which he wasn't interested in. I remember jubilantly saying, "You got a nomination." He looked at me, Femo. I don't sing for nominations and awards.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, Twali.
He's on a
I respect you, man.
So now it doesn't even matter what language he used then. This song traveled.
Yeah.
Nices, Gongwa, so traveled. It doesn't matter what the language was. Remember we're singing, not Kofi Olomide now, what's the name of the other guy? Awilo Lugumba. Without us knowing that everything he was saying was... I remember always learning the dance, when my dad put the tape on, we all, then after the Je m'appelle, and we never know that the many things he was saying was, oh my goodness. So, but that's the point.
It will insult you and you will dance to it.
I will get more dance to it. So, but what I've noticed is if you are not, I don't know. I mean, they come out to say it all the time. I mean, I saw Tiwa's ranting on Instagram the other day, the industry is dark and all of that. I said, well, if you know it's dark, why don't you just talk about it and tell us what the darkness is? Maybe we can finally get some light. Because the same people, unfortunately, the same Nigerians, after they've consumed all certain kind of music, they come back and say some people don't make conscious music, and I'm confused. Because I know the Kuti still sings, but you won't hear it anywhere.
It's true.
Even if they play it on radio, they'll just tune it up. What's this one? So now the person on the radio is left with, okay, I need to keep my audience. What do I do? So it's just a ripple effect upon ripple effect upon ripple effect. Made's Kuti album came the other day and it's like nothing happened. I'm sure if I ask some people, you're like, Made. Who is Made?
Some people don't even know the guy.
And these people go on tour abroad and sell venues, but I guess they don't put their stuff out there as much as and all of a sudden.
And a lot of them are even appreciated outside our shores.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In our shores. To the point you just made, Nee, about talking about it, James, we've talked about the power of music, even to the point of effecting social change and all of that. But some believe that Nigerian musicians are no longer talking. They are not speaking to the incidents of the country. Okay, we remember the 2020 conversation. We remember Idris Abdul Karim, Obasanjo's back the Nigeria Jaga Jaga thing. We know that he then did another one again recently as a follow-up. But why do you think there is a decline in the use of music as a check on society, social justice tool? What do you think is responsible?
Wow. Mr. Femi, sir, you're asking very, very pointed questions, I must say. Well, the decadence is what it is. I call it decadence because indeed it is a decadence. In the days of the Felas, right, he said what was going on. Not only the Felas, but if you go all the way back,
all the song musicians.
Sonny
Okosun, everybody.
Yeah, Sonny Okosun.
Yeah, I'm even saying all the way back, like in history, to the ancient Greeks, so to speak. Their poets were often also called seers and prophets. And these people spoke about what was going on in the society. So you will see that really it's the nature of a musician or an artist to actually push out to the public what he's soaking in from the public. We're soaking in, okay, government is doing evil, this is doing that, that is doing this. The poet internalizes all these feelings, and because of his own gift, he's able to craft it into music or a poem or something and broadcast it into society. And then society, in response, their awareness is spiked up. And they're like, ooh, wait, this resonates with what we're going through. Okay, wait, what are we doing? Are we thinking straight? You know what? We should do better. There's just this awareness that kicks in, right? So again, coming back to our generation now, we don't see that happening. Why? I think there are many sides to that effect. There are many sides of the story. It's many-sided, right? I think there's been a lot of compromise. I think there's been a lot of being lily-livered a bit, right? Musicians do not want to step into hot waters anymore because they probably saw what became of some of the others. They saw the risk, the danger of being persecuted for that kind of thing, right? So they'll rather just, do the gummy bear music and let everybody just be happy and smiling, even though we know the reality is not smiling. Right? So I think compromise is the word. If I summarize everything in one word, compromise. Yeah.
Interestingly, Niyi,
Yes.
just talking about this. There are a lot of young musicians now that are successful.
Right.
They've never learned to play an instrument. Not a single one.
Yeah.
maybe sometimes a great musician does not have to learn to play an instrument. Maybe like the greatest musical instrument being your vocal cords, I guess. But you look at it as an educator, a music educator. What do you say to that? What's the trend, and what would you normally advise to the young guy who wants a career in music, who wants to pursue, and who just has a good voice? And maybe the guy just vibes at the party. People say, you can't sing, and he's just looking around for a producer who can cook up some beats and he can jump up to. Is understanding how music works, playing a musical instrument, is it overrated?
Okay. I mean, that's a beautiful question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I say this because we also train kids that sings. We've seen some little kids who even write their own songs, just like at our last recital. Now, this is what I say to them, which is true. I said, have you ever seen people which we refer to as great musicians anywhere in the world? All right. Go check back in history. Sonny Shina Peter's amazing guitar player. He understands the use of the keyboard, which in turn helps him on stage or any other place to use his voice, even sometimes when he's tired. Now, these are the advantages. So we've seen over time that musicians or artists who refuse to go back and actually learn the rudiments of music in itself, when it comes to live stage performances, we can tell who a true musician is and the one who is cheating is. We can absolutely tell. So that's why, for me, as an individual, sometimes we're like, okay, we ask ourselves, why don't we even go to some of these concerts? Because I'm like, I go to a concert and you're playing me a DJ. You're just there and screaming, 1, 2, 3. No, that's no.
I mean, like one boring.
Yeah. I'm like,
you went to the studio, recorded a good song, and now you're now jumping and shouting over it.
So because the challenge is the people that don't, they're supposed to get the credit for majority of these hits we hear are the producers. They are the one. He knows what he does behind the scene when he's producing. You're the one literally teaching the artist, oh, that's not your hitting. No. Hit it this way. Hit it this way.
So that's a debate. Who is more important to the song? The singer, the vocalist, or the producer?
If the singer does not have an educational background in music itself, as it were, the producer should be the superior one. So again, if you picture Don Jazzy and the band's relationship, that was what was happening. Don Jazzy is the one doing all the tweaking. He understands the work he is putting in behind the scene. But because the band was the face at the time, he just had to keep quiet. So when when the table turned and Don Jazzy now put himself out, now people now understand, wow, okay, so this guy is this good. So when you listen to an ID Kabasa, I can mention a few producers I know that they are musically sound. An ID Kabasa, a Jazzy, Cobams, oh my God. Cobams, even Fuse. You can see the difference between that and the ones that just rely on the sonic sound. Then when you listen to a music that's, if I say this now, he will laugh. Cut and join. He knows once he listens at one, oh, okay, I know what has happened here. Right? I know what has happened here. And when you now come to the live performances again, that's where you know who is an artist and who is not an artist. All right? I might not be the greatest Burna Boy fan, but the first day I heard him, I think was at a GTB show. So he was about to sing, and whatever happened, the DJ couldn't play a song. And he said, you know what? Keep quiet, everybody. And he was doing a cappella. And I'm like, what? You know, he stayed on his key, maintained it all through. He switched to another song, stayed on the key on that, and he did a cappella all through from beginning to the end. I'm like, if this guy starts performing live, you're all in trouble. You all are in trouble. And we can all see it now. Now everybody now wants to follow suit. I'm not going to mention the name of this artist, but he was performing a particular year. I think it was in a hotel. Live performance. So they started. So immediately he did the first song, you know, and they were telling him on his in-ear, bro, you're going off pitch.
Singing.
The next thing I just heard was, you know what, stop it, DJ, play. And he started doing his shouting thing back. So it's important.
Yeah.
You see an Ed Sheeran easily sells out 90,000, 100,000. On stage, Ed Sheeran comes with his guitar and he relays all his production on stage, live. And he'll say, okay, audience, or is it Jacob Holia? Audience, okay, do this, we'll record it, and we'll do a production live to show you that I'm not a cheat. I know what I'm doing 100%.
Or John Bellion.
Yes. Givon, Taylor Swift. We can usher in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, the other twist to it is this. Music is expensive, and we all agree. Right? So when a short-sighted or a musician, again, that want to think about self, thinks about all this thing, I'm like, to get a band, to do this, who is going to pay for all of this? No. If I don't get a band, if I do a DJ and I get $1 million for this show,
it's all mine.
It's all mine. But if I get a band, I'm going to share. You know what? DJ, let's go. So at the end of the day, what I had said earlier is we need to switch from a community from a self standpoint to a community standpoint, which is always routed from education. That's where the real change is.
Music literacy.
Music literacy, to understand that music in itself involves a lot of people putting in their talent together and bringing out something that is so bright. And that's what we're doing with Emmet. To bring out 60 people to come and create something, you guys are crazy. Do you know how much you're going to spend? If we want to think about self, 4 of us will do it. We'll put everything in what we call a STEM track. And we'll make money.
True.
But the core of what music should be is already lost. So I'm like, okay, if you're doing a DJ thing and you're screaming over it, how then do you even communicate with your audience? It becomes so difficult because the fluidity is lost. And the reason why you can't even come back to that is, again, no music education. You don't understand what it means to stay on key because you don't even practice. To start with, we know some artists that they will try to say, okay, now I want the band to come together. And I kid you not, they won't come to rehearsal until the day of the show. The band will just be practicing without the artist because they don't want to mess themselves up in front of the band. So on the day of the show, they just come, DJ, play, band, don't worry, just be miming. Here in this country. Despite the fact that they see what some others are beginning to do now, that, okay, this thing is attainable. So again, the ego of, okay, I need to go back to go and actually learn what a proper vocal training should be. Michael Jackson would not go anywhere without Seth Riggs. He's not going to any show without Seth Riggs. When Seth Riggs was too old to travel, he would still do his vocal warm-up over the phone. And Michael Jackson's chart sheet, you see Seth Riggs' fee there. You're paying his vocal trainer. If not, it's not coming. That's how important it is. Beyonce, without her father, of course. So that's the importance of this vocal exercises, proper music background. Yeah. So my question to them most of the time is, how do you actually compose this music when you have no idea of where the keyboard should come in, something you just sit down and just put words together? That's why I tell you the producers should get more credit because they are the one that will now arrange every of all these things. All the way they do it, they just send beats. Okay, vibe on the beat. Vibe on the beat.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah, vibe on the beat.
Somebody just gives you a
beat. You vibe on it until it makes sense.
For a few rhymes.
Just put a few rhymes here and there. So yeah.
Okay, but again, Nii, and I think I have to pivot to James to answer this. To the point you just made about the rigor that should be there what the professional does and what the guy who just has a flow, has a vibe, or can jump on a rhythm. Some would say, Baba, think about it. How many background people make it? It's these guys who make it. And which leads me to my next question to you as the director of production and performance. We see these producers now coming out and moving from being the backbone to coming to be the musicians themselves. Young John and these guys. And some even say Omale used to be the guy who played producer.
All of them
Omale came, some of them came, they were a hit. Some say COVID was just was the right environment for Omale. His was more of timing because his music was also different. But some others, are just there. So what do you think about this? One, the person who says, Papa, if all I need to do is write a few lines, find a producer that can give me beat, I jump on it, and it moves people rather than sit down. A flute has to hold that. I need a trombone. I mean, what do you say to that?
Man. It's, wow. Again, petty listening. What the public is interested in consuming matters a whole lot, right? Now, like you said, the producers are now forced to come to the front and start to portray themselves that, hey, me too, I have something and all of that. Well, several reasons. Maybe they feel cheated. Maybe they feel they're not being given enough credit. Maybe they feel, hey, this artist doesn't know jack. I'm the one doing everything in the studio. He just comes, gets a bunch of ingredients, throw it in the air, everything falls down, and I'm the one picking everything, and I cook the food, and everybody's enjoying it. Hey, who gets the credit? The person who threw the food, the person who arranged the food, right? So again, maybe they're just trying to also make a name for themselves, at least, and I don't blame them, right? That's because the industry itself, the system itself is crafted in such a way that it does not reward hard work, true hard work, right? True hard work. Because if true hard work is being rewarded, there will be no need for those kind of anomalies, right? A Quincy Jones will not come out and say, I want to become an artist of my own.
Exactly.
Because the reward system exists and it's standard, right? So, and again, we're even talking about just the secular industry. What of the gospel? The gospel arena too is the same old. We all know the court cases floating all over the place about one producer feeling cheated. The artist say, hey, shut up, blah, blah, blah. All sorts of crap going on. All sorts of tricks in the book. That's because true hard work is not being rewarded the way it ought to be. True. Back in the day of them, King Sunny Ade can play guitar.
Yeah.
Right? Obe can play guitar.
Yeah.
Fela, multi-instrumentalist. Victor Waifo,
the same, plays the trumpet.
Guitar boy.
Exactly.
Right, every single one of them.
They play instruments. So back in the day, there was that thing. And again, of course, when music had not become as digital as it is right now, back then, it was more of analog recordings and all. You can't get a big sound without having a big band.
Yeah, the Decca studios of this world.
Yes.
You see, you can't get a big sound without having a big band and everything. But now that the digital thing has come in, it's helping in many ways. But again, of course, it has its own pros and cons also. Now you can do also cut and join, like you were saying, and all of that is part of it. So again, it's multifaceted, really.
So does mediocrity sell?
Yes.
Sometimes in music?
Yes. Plain answer is yes.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Absolutely.
It's cheaper at least. It's cheaper to achieve, right?
So
the quicker way to the top.
Let me make this joke. So Terry G had produced the beats for certain people. They were in the studio booth, but the mic wasn't working. I'm sure we all remember the song now. Then he went to the studio booth to say, okay, let me test if this mic is working right. Then he started testing microphone, Terry G, testing microphone. Then he started to say all manner of gibberish. Chap, 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 chaparapa, chap, 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 from beginning to the end. And it was... So most times...
So that practice session became part of the song.
That was Terry G's hit.
That was his hit.
That became the hit.
And he called it, is it something crazy or something?
Yeah.
That was his hit.
So it was not even intentional.
Not intentional. Those guys sued him that.
How dare you?
This was for us. Because I remember them very well, right? They sued him that beat is for, so he had to make another one for them and say, you know what, this one is for free. You guys just take it and go. Now, the song has already gone, it has gone. What can I do? He was just joking. And most times, that song will not make sense to you until maybe you're high on something. Any day you want to listen to it normally, you're there and you listen. What is this guy saying from beginning to the end? Absolute nonsense, period. Even he himself knew it. And guess what? Terry G was a keyboard player, was a drummer, he used to be a music director. So he knows music well, when he was working with FaZe and all of that. But he said to himself, okay, so this is what you people want. Rubbish? Okay, I'll stick to it. And then it became whatever it became. But the thing is, just like he said, where is the chef life? Can he continue that thing now? You just can't sustain it if it's not proper music. There's a reason Beautiful Nubia is still performing till tomorrow. There's a reason Baba Obe is performing till tomorrow.
Lagbaja.
There's a reason Lagbaja, all these people are performing. There's a reason we are still listening to Fela's craft till tomorrow, till if a child is born, Fela, Michael Jackson, name it. The list goes on and on. But can you listen to, who do I want to call now? They'll not look as if they'll come and box me on the road later. But that's the thing. But, in like some few years' time, can you listen to somebody like Portable? So the shelf life of those kind of music, because just like I made Terry G an example now, I saw him on Twitter the other day, or X now, trying to reinvent himself. He will post some of his old songs like, oh, you sang this song? I said, imagine. Nobody can even remember him for who he was then.
So sometimes you see somebody, they say, and I remember this guy, and they have to now sing the song and all of that.
Yeah.
But again, you could also apply to so many people on the back end who have labored, who are the brains behind this, who nobody even know, a whole lot of them. And to the point you were making about, you mentioned Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones didn't have to come and sing. But Michael Jackson will not release any song without putting in the work and without first going to submit to Quincy Jones to do his magic. But there were others too, like Babyface. Fantastic producer. Writer, producer.
Yes.
And he sang quite a number of songs with a lovely voice. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, you could say there were some. I used to like a couple. I think he did How Come, How Long with Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
I used to love it, but nobody cared. Some people used to wonder why I loved it so much. Let's move on to another interesting aspect now that I just want to ask you. It may not be your thing, but because you're professionals, you know some of these things. Music labels. Their artists. Why do not most Nigerian artists accuse labels of slavery? Have you felt this up close? And either of you could, I don't know who probably understands it better or who has experienced it better. James Niyi?
Okay. I've not experienced it personally, but of course I have third-party friends. Yeah. Artists, producers that have, again, we're discussing this while we're now way to this place that in Nigeria now. And I told him that I don't like to say in Nigeria that there's a lot of poor people. That's no. It's the other way around. We are deliberately impoverished. So we don't have people that are dying of poverty. No, we have people that are dying of, a deliberate attempt to just make people stay where they are. I don't want to politicize our discourse. So a lot of these deals comes from this not only hunger for success, because the artist that is signing the deal knows that once I become visible, it's going to translate to some sort of money in my pocket. So a big question is this: an upcoming artist that has, that has barely, had lunch or breakfast that day, where is he going to get a lawyer to pay a retainers fee? Because I hear the label say, "Oh, you'll have given it to your lawyer," and I'm like, "Come on, come on!" This guy stays in Ukorodu, nothing to eat. You just saw him on the street, and I'm like, "Oh, I love the way you vibe." So, what does he know about lawyer? To first say, "Oh, okay, lawyer and entertainment lawyer, they are very expensive. That's the ones that are good." All right. So now say, "Okay, I want you to help me read this." The lawyer is going to tell, I'm not going to read for free. I'm not going to interpret to you for free. So the artist already is at a disadvantage. Ashake's story came out. He said he didn't even read. When allowed me to take it, he said, "I'm not taking it. I'm signing it now." And he signed it and he left. So 2 years after, come and renew. He's like, "Oh, I know better now. I'm not renewing that." He said, "No, but we've made the deal better." Bro, I'm not renewing that because I know I can make a whole lot more. Happened with Whiskey too. So it's the same thing. That, okay. And again, like you mentioned earlier, it's a system and a structure thing. And once we don't have a centralized system to regulate certain labor laws or certain deals, it will continue to happen. Yeah. So once the artist, quote unquote, now becomes blown, now we're seeing that I'm bringing like $1 billion to this label and I'm just getting 10 million. What is happening? We saw it with a lot of labels then, right? I remember Two-Face then, that the car they got for him was a car that was used. And I said, "Okay, Two-Face, you can continue." So until J1 came one day and was saying it was the same car when Two-Face left that was given to him again, that you two continue to use. And I'm like, the same car? It happened with Cynthia Morgan's case. People, maybe fake it till you make it, I don't know. When she came out, I just got a Range Rover and all that. Nobody knew it was the same Range Rover that was accidented, that he made and repainted and gave to hers. Come on, we're doing well. And we've seen her all over the blogs and all the rants and whatever and anything. It's their problem to settle. But again, it's because there's so much hunger in the land that you can't see what you're bringing to the table as potential. Some of our guys just said they got a deal. 5 albums. I think I can say this because they are guys. They got a deal. 5 albums. 70 million. For 5 albums. All right. It took only one of them to say, "Okay, this looks like big money. But guys, we are 7. So, 7 people, 5. How many years will we take for us to make 5 albums?
It's crazy. Do you see Cynthia Morgan coming back?
How? Not in that state of mind. Not, at least not in that state of mind. All right. Because I don't know the sort of deal you present to her now that she'll not begin to look at. Okay. So not in that state of mind. Not in that. A lot of people have not. Where is Mady? He's not back. I saw him yesterday performing on sand to area boys. Yesterday. Wow. And that almost brought tears to my eyes. It was on the sand. People were mocking him. I'm like, you watched this interview. You saw how they sabotaged the deal he was supposed to have in America. And the only thing you can do is laugh at this guy. Come on. They were sitting on area boys, basically. They were just sitting like on all this field that is just sand in the neighborhood. I'm like,
that's serious.
I can go on and on and on and on and on and on, only that this person will not allow me to mention it. He produced what we will call one of our first early biggest exports in Nigeria. But when he produced that record, it took his lawyer that, okay, let's sign, dot the I's. They look him in the face and say, "We are not signing anything. And we're going to use your beats." He can't fight them. If not, he gets blacklisted. That's the new order now. You use a producer for this album before you see another album, another set of producers, another album. Because you use this producer as at that time, he didn't sign anything with you. Now he knows better. When you call him the other time, he now brings I'm like, no, I'm not using you again. They look for another person. And there's always another person to collect that 200K because he's hungry. I remember, what was it? I forgot the name of the producer, but he produced the band at the time. I think it was DJ Spinall that introduced him. He said, when I received 4 million naira for the track that he himself said in an interview that's the beat he gave himself the list that, let me just do this one. And the band sent him 4 million for that beat. He said he fainted. He said because at that time, he had songs that were on the charts from some said artists and he was struggling to pay rent. The landlord was about to evict him from the house. He said the day the 4 million came, there was no food to eat. So when he saw biggest pay in his life, he said he has never even earned 1 million on a beat. And his songs were topping charts. And they would call his name on the beat. Something, something, something. And he said immediately he saw it, he just fainted. Like he knew that he woke up in an hospital. He said, what happened to you? He said, you people cannot understand. Wow. He said it was that day that he knew that, am I worth this? So he said he went back to Spinoza. How do I reinvent myself? And then I said, okay, you have to put social lawyer in place, put this in place. And that's how he was able to get out. When these guys were reigning, what they call them, I forgot the name of the producer. I think it was with the Naira Marley and all that. There's a particular producer that was reigning them with them. And he could not even afford a car. I think they bought him a Camry. And he was celebrated. And he has monster records everywhere. I'm like, can you see that this guy's work is not
being rewarded? And
all the artists that he produced monster records for, they have all the latest car and all of that. So it's a structured thing. So I don't know how artists can get out of it. I really don't know. If you're an upcoming and there's no leverage, it becomes difficult. We heard Davido's story. Is that bought the deal? The Sunny deal you bought, go and pay it off. How many people can do that? How many people can do that? You just pull up $1 million and say, go and pay it. Where is it going to come from? So these are the challenges. And it's there. Like I just said, those guys, 70 million, 5 albums. They saw them, no car. They're looking hungry. Take it or, and they gave him a take it or leave it.
Offer.
Take it or leave. And immediately they said no improvement, nothing. I said, go, wait.
We've seen that sort of things before. A word of mine, I got a contract and I was like, don't sign this contract. But the guy looked at it and, okay, they're going to throw a car in there. They're going to give me one. I think he was going to see his first 5 million in his life. And then he went and signed it off. I told him what's going to happen is that you now have a wave. Ride that wave. But if you sign this contract, it will kill that wave. And that what it meant is that for the next 3 years, there was nothing. Just nothing. Yeah, he had a car and probably saw his first 5 million. But again, the lesson usually is that thankfully he's very creative and he's been able to reinvent. Some people just nosedive like that. And that's why you see a lot of these, what do you call it now? This talent events.
Yes.
You often see that the winner of the event usually, maybe the winner has then tied themselves to some contract, and then you now see some other person who finished third or fourth or who did. You say they without right, and then the guy is like, this guy was second in so. What's the name of that guy who won? Where is he?
It's nowhere to be found.
True. I'm going to ask my producers to buy me some time because they're hurrying us. I just wanted to ask about charging, and I do not know, maybe because you are the performance man, how should an artist charge? There's a lot of exorbitance when it comes to some people who can charge an arm and a leg, and other artists are even almost willing to give you money to just get on your stage to perform.
True.
Yeah. So what would you advise? What to look out for?
You mean the artist charging?
Artist charging, and what is the true worth of the craft, of the art?
Well, it ranges from what goes into the writing of the music itself to the time that is involved even in producing the music itself. We have to factor in all of that to bring out a final charge. Right? So as we said before, music is expensive. And it's not a modern fact. It's something that has always been. Back in those days, you want to have a Mozart music. There were no recording tools in those days, in 17th century, 18th century.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear
only
Mozart,
kings could afford to engage musicians. Yeah.
You come to the royal court of the king, you have to pay. And Mozart, maybe it's a concerto or something. You have to bring the entire orchestra. The logistics involved. Also, so music has always been expensive. So again, back to our modern era right now, we need to take that into consideration, right? So again. Well, it depends again on the level of the artists. If the artist is in the A list, B list, whatever, you don't expect him to charge cheap. Producer also, same thing. If the producer has a track record of doing very well, it goes without saying that he will charge much, right? And also, it depends on for example, now one upcoming artist wants a DJ Kublon or a Don Jazzy to help him with his record. Well, reputation is already there. It's going to charge you based on your reputation. But apart from that, his professionalism too. You are the artist. You don't have much experience. You wrote a song a particular way. And the producer looks at it and says, hey, I've been in this industry for a while. I think if you arrange it this way, that way, and everything, blah, blah, blah. So all that consultation, so to speak, and assessment of your music itself also is part of the expense. Right. So I think it's something we just need to embrace.
All right. Again, I'm going to buy a little time because this is important, and I want to talk about EMTT, the discovery. Let's finish with the discovery. So this will be the third.
Yeah.
Yes.
Third edition.
So the first was
2023.
EMTT the Truth.
The Truth.
EMTT
the prequel.
The
was
prequel
last year.
And
this year is EMTT the
The
Discovery.
Discovery.
Yes.
When is it?
October 12th.
Where?
At Shell Hall, Mozon Center.
October 12th, that's a Sunday.
It's Sunday, 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
So that's literally the second Sunday of
October.
Yes.
Yes. Second
It
Sunday.
starts at 5 p.m.?
Prompt.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it goes on till the package will probably be...
Okay. Should we let the cat out of the box?
Well, it's the entire event is sectioned into different parts, right? We talked about the students performing.
Yes.
Right. So for a few minutes before the real EMTT itself starts, the EMTT itself is the musical industry, is the movie you're coming to watch. Yeah. So before the movie, there is a little pre-concert or a pre-movie, which is some little performances, the students, a few features here and there. Then the EMTT itself is about 45 minutes long. It's not very long in itself. And after the EMTT, then we're going to put up a real show. Right? Last time you talked about witnessing a performance in Lebanon where they were playing movie soundtrack. Yeah. People are going to get it.
Yeah, we have what we call after concert.
Yes.
And I think what we need to add to this year, the information we need to put out there again is there's always a cross-cultural performance with us. There's an Indian performance. This year, we also have some Jewish singer.
Jewish singer, yeah.
So we try to, as much as possible, bring different elements of people into it. Remember, some years ago, we brought a Romanian violinist.
Yes.
That's the one who came. So
and there was this other woman, can't remember from what country.
Yeah, she's from India. She's from India.
Yes.
So we try to bring those other elements. And the only reason why they can come to us is because they see excellence in what we do, right? So all those are in there, string ensemble, percussion ensemble.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, the after concert.
So this is a concert, but it's also theater. It's big screen.
Yes.
It's big.
Oh, yes.
And it's not just a performance, is it?
More than the
EMTT itself supports how many people, creatives, dancers, over 50 performers.
We have about 6 sections.
Yeah.
We have the main band, which is the bass guitar, rhythm guitar, the keyboards, drums. You have the hornsmen, which is about 11 of them.
Yeah, 11 horns.
You have the string section, which is about 8 of them. You have the singers, the vocals, which is about 6 of them.
Seven,
to the exclusion of the Jewish, the
and
Indian.
so they will be Jewish Indian. That makes them 9.
That makes them 9. We have the African percussion ensemble, about 10 of them.
10, yes.
And we have finally the theater troopers, okay? And we have about...
The AWE person too.
10.
The AWE part, that local.
Yeah. So if you look at the entire performing...
we're over 60.
Yeah.
Over 60.
Yes.
And I hear your crew is over 50 or something.
Yeah.
The people who walk back end, essentially.
It's so big that each of these sections need to practice in separately. The last joint rehearsal we had, we couldn't find a studio to take everybody. We had to go rent a church, basically a church space to take everybody. In fact, one of the people that were one of the musicians, the guy playing the viola came around. He came a bit late for the joint rehearsal. So as he walked in, he came to me. He was like, "Boss, okay, is today the concert?"
Because
I said, "No, today is not the concert." No, but I tricked him at first. I was like, "Yeah, it's the concert. Are you not prepared?" And he was like, "No, they told us joint rehearsal." I said, "Come on, I'm going to take you to this joint rehearsal." So that's how big the entire performance team is. And again, it's the first of its kind. We are proud of that.
Yeah, it's a big deal, but it's also premium content, isn't it? Because it's like going to watch Beethoven perform or Bach or one of these guys. So the question is, who's the target audience?
Everybody.
Everybody.
It's family-friendly content.
Family friendly.
It's family friendly.
Family friendly.
But the tickets must the tickets must be off the charts.
Okay, well, so that's the side about music in Nigeria, music concerts in Nigeria. I think that's also the side that, pushes creatives to do what they didn't intend to do, right? Because if you remove the brands sponsoring you in Nigeria, tickets can never pay for your event. I can say that for sure. I didn't know that before. Sure. So when we started doing this, we were like, whatever concert we go to now, you guys tried. Now we know what it means to hold a concert. So the tickets, how much you want to sell the tickets, especially in a country like ours, we'll be able to afford it. So we try, we will do early birds, everything just to, for example, early bird this year is at 10K.
Yeah, 10,000.
Okay, let's just try.
That's
because
good.
again, even if, our music is for all, but we're not going to go broke doing it. So let's be realistic.
So early birds can get in for 10K.
10K, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
And tickets are out now. They're
And
live
tickets
now.
are actually out now on
You
Tix.
said Muson Center?
Yeah, Muson Center.
Shell Hall.
Shell Hall.
Yeah.
Muson Center.
Yeah, Shell Hall.
That's on the 12th of October. Right?
Yes, sir.
That'll be great. Olaniyi Jatto, James Makinde, the music executives. Fantastic guys. I don't know how you guys do what you do, but I love it. I appreciate it. With a little bit of jealousy. I wish I could be you guys. I wish I could be.
Not too late.
I wish I could. Can I?
It's never too late.
Can you learn to play new musical instruments in your 50s?
Oh, yes. One of the best times.
Music is not sports.
It's not
Sport
sports.
has the expiry date on age.
Yeah.
But music in your 90s, you can learn.
How old was your oldest student then?
Yeah, I had a woman, 76.
Oh, are you kidding me?
76-year-old woman, yeah. Down there at Allen,
Yep.
Keja.
Yep.
76-year-old woman.
She
learned very quickly.
I just want to learn to play the piano, nothing more. And I'll be fine.
Oh, you're most welcome, sir. Most welcome. Most welcome. At any age.
Pleasure, James.
Yes, likewise.
Pleasure,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I will see you on the 12th.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
I'll be an early bird.
Don't worry.
I'll be there.
There's going to be a special announcement that day.
Yeah.
Mr. Femi of Cool FM.
Please come to the VIP spot.
I'll be nice. That'll be kind. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thoroughly
sir.
enjoyed myself. Hope you enjoyed yourself too.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely,
Oh, yes.
absolutely.
Oh, yes.